Hello. So I apologize for this angle, and it's kind of dark in here, but I don't really want to turn on the light. So today is my first day that my break has started. So I'm on winter break now. Yesterday was my last day of work, and oh my goodness, this semester was super packed. And the main reason was because I have this kindergarten class that's 2.5 hours long. And before, I would share that class with another teacher. So it only worked twice a week, that class. But now, not now, but this past semester, the teacher I was supposed to share the class with just never showed up. And my boss was like, oh, can you take over the class for now, working the 4 days until we find another teacher. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. And I didn't mind because I really needed the extra money, so I didn't say anything. But then time passed, and I was like, oh my goodness, I barely have time to do a lot of things that I did before. And that's not the only class I had another class also. So 4 days of the week, I was just at work way longer than I had the previous semester. So I had 13 and a half payable hours before, and then all of a sudden I have 19.5. And I know that technically I was still not there a full 8 hours or anything, but being there for I was there 6 hours 4 times a week, and then the other day I was there 2 hours, and it was still really exhausting for me. Just personally, it was a lot for me, and I feel like I did okay, especially with the kindergarten class. I felt like I did fine. It was kind of the other class that suffered more, because by the time I got to them, I was really tired. And then they're older, and they're just a bit more rebellious. They don't really want to learn English. The little ones, I feel like they do want to learn English. They're excited that they can talk to me. They want to be able to communicate with me, and they want to do well. So they're more eager, and they pay more attention, and they're cute and fun. So I enjoyed the class. I even told my boss, I was like, next semester, I want to keep this class, my kindergarten class. I want them. They're mine. They're mine. I can share them, but they're mine. But the other class, they were in their 10-year-olds, 10 to 12. I think the eldest was 12. So I think I had, most of them were 10-year-olds, and then one 11-year-old and one 12-year-old. And I feel like a lot of it was my fault. I know it's not all my fault, but some of it, a lot, I felt, this is how I feel. I feel because of the fact that I was tired, or because of the fact that I just wanted things to be peaceful, or just because I was maybe somewhat lazy, I was not as strict or as disciplined with them as I should have. I felt I gave in a lot to them, and I feel like instead of benefiting me or the class in any way, it just made it worse. But then you know how when you let something go, it's really hard to pull it back in. And so by the end of the semester, I know they liked me because they knew I was chill and nice, and won't really, they could tell that I really didn't want to get them in trouble, or they could tell that I really wanted it to be okay. And I think that they appreciated that. And I also would talk about things that they wanted to talk about. We would have conversations about things, which was nice. Some of them are really funny, or we would tease each other. Certain things were a little difficult, just because they got I feel like it's hard for me to find the right word in English, but in Spanish I would use the word confianza. They had too much of that with me. They were maybe, I guess, too comfortable. It was too much. And I think that made it difficult for me at times. There was a period of time, it did calm down because I told my teacher assistant. But there was a time, oh my goodness, they would be asking me, every day, like when I was gonna get married, or like if I had a boyfriend, or what about this other teacher assistant, like what about him, and like that they'll help me. And like I tried the whole like smile and laugh it off, but then like that wasn't really working. They just thought I was fine with it. They thought it was funny and thought that they should continue, I guess. I was trying to show that it wasn't a big deal, but like it just didn't work out. And then I tried the whole like, hey, like we gotta stop talking about it. Nope, like we're not allowed to talk about those things. And they just thought that was even funnier. And it got to the point in which like it didn't make, I never like really, I didn't get, how do you say, I never like cried over this or anything. It wasn't like that bad, but I felt like it still was affecting me. I didn't like it. I felt like having like 9 kids, like every day, like point out how single I am, is not fun. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that it was like every day, and that they kept like pushing one of the teacher assistants on me, or like any other teacher. They were just like any guy at all. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like stop. This is not funny anymore. Like this is getting really old. So I finally told my teacher assistant, I'm like, this has been going on for months now. Like I'm tired of it. I don't know how to make them stop. I tried to, you know, be all cool, and then like it didn't work. Or I tried to be like, no, we gotta stop, and it didn't work. And I even tried to do the whole like, hey, like if you were in this position, would you like that? And that didn't work. So I don't know what my teacher assistant told them. I think she threatened them with something, but they eventually stopped. And it would come up like once a week or so, but it was like, it totally like decreased, and I felt like that, I felt a lot better. I was like, okay. And it's funny because like I was venting about this to my friend, she's teacher Ashley, and she subbed my class, and she told me that like she kind of like told them like, hey, like you should stop doing that. She kind of scolded them a little bit, and then when I came back, they didn't mind. I felt like there were 2 people that subbed for me, and they were like cool with both options. So they're still like, they didn't dislike teacher Ashley, but they were very like, oh, how could she possibly know this information? And I was like, what, you think I don't like vent like to my friends? Like that's what I do? I'm just kidding. But I was just saying that like, yeah, like she is like an older sister to me that I have here in Taiwan. And I have many, I feel, not many, but I have a few, that's what I'm trying to say, but she's one of them. And I feel like I can vent to her and it's gonna be okay. So I had mentioned that to the kids. I'm like, she's a good friend of mine. When things bother me, I talk to her about them, you know, because that's a good thing to do when something is bothering you. But they were more like freaked out that like, I guess that we talk about them outside of school, which as a young kid, like I realized that really early on that teachers talk about their students to other teachers or to other people. All of the teachers knew that I would finish the book, like the book that you're required to read for school for like the year or like this semester, I don't know what. I would always read it like within the first 2-3 days, like completely. And I didn't notice that other teachers knew this. Like I didn't know until I had one teacher tell me like, hey, like on the first, not, maybe it was the first day, she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna read this book. And just want to let you know, like to me, she talked to me. She was telling me, she's like, do not read the whole book. Try to read it like with us at the same pace. And I was like, how does she know that I do that? Like how? But then like I pieced it together. Plus my aunt's a teacher and she's always talking about her students, like the ones that drive her crazy or the ones that are really sweet. So yeah, so I just thought it was funny that these kids were so shocked. And so I feel like this past semester I learned that this schedule is too much for me. Like I felt like I wasn't really able to juggle things properly. Like I wasn't able to juggle my responsibilities at home really well, or my responsibilities at school very well, or like my personal study or like service, like everything. Like I felt like I was barely getting it done, and a lot of things weren't being done properly. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I just have a few more weeks. Like I just have a few more weeks um, left. I can do this. I can do this. And then like I'm here and it's done, and I'm so happy that it's done and that I don't have to do that again. So I learned my lesson. I feel like next time if my boss ever tries to give me that much um, work, that I'll have to tell her like, hey, like that's, I can't. That's no. So I did talk to my boss before, like the last few weeks. Like I'm one that I'm very vocal. I don't mean to be so vocal about how I feel all the time, but that's just happens to be what I do. And I would tell her, I'm like, I'm struggling with this class, or like I'm very tired, or like I'm struggling with this class, like I'm not really sure what to do, and she could probably also tell that I was very tired and frustrated and stressed, because I would leave school like, oh, like, oh my gosh, I'm so done. You know, I would feel like that and look like that probably. And so she's really, really, really nice boss. She even let me have some days off, like 2 days off I got, to go to, where did I go? I went to a wedding, that's what it was. Very important, which I guess I will talk about later. That she let me have those days off, which was nice. And I was talking to her, and I was like, oh, like, could I at least like have one day off? Because I know one of my other coworkers, she's super, super, super cool, teacher Heather, who is like what I aspire to be discipline wise, because she's like has her class under control, like she know what she's doing. And she told me that she had mentioned like that it was too much for her at one point, that she asked for like one day of the week off. Now she has like 2 days of the week off, but in my mind I'm like, I'm not as indispensable as her. Like she's like I feel like my boss would bend over backwards for her. That's just my opinion, because she's so good at what she does, and I'm not there yet. I feel like she likes me, and that she likes that I am a reliable, responsible, nice teacher, but I'm just not there when it comes to like managing a rowdy classroom. I'm just not that good at it yet. And wait a second, I feel like there's something playing in my room. I'll be right back. Okay, so like, I don't know, I think my cats like touched my tablet or something and they turned on. They turned something on. So, as I was saying, I talked to my boss, and initially she was like, no, like you can't have a day off in the week, like no. And I was like, ugh, so I'm not like, but she was still like, oh, but like don't worry, I'll decrease your hours. And I was like, oh, like, but I was like, oh my gosh, please. So I prayed. I was praying about it, like seriously. I was kind of like, even before I would pray about it, I'd be like, if this is like, please like help my boss give me a schedule that would work the best for me and help me support myself but still achieve my goals. So I pray about that and stuff. And I was a little initially worried, but then she sent me my schedule. And I was like, what? I feel like imperfection kind of kicked in more like first, because it was like she really dialed it down like to 12 hours a week. And that's like less than before. And so I guess part of me was like, oh no, like what am I gonna do? Like I wasn't asking for that much time off. Like I would wait. And then I, saw how much that, like I guess because I saw it like just like in numbers, but then I calculated like how much that would be in Taiwanese dollars, and then I had to convert that to US dollars, because I'm still like, my brain still needs to work on the conversions. And I was like, no, actually, like this is not, it's fine, it's still fine, I'll still be okay. Like I was like, oh Dalia, like oh my goodness, stop worrying. And so I looked at it again and I was like, wow, like she gave me a day off. Like I have my meeting day off. And I was like, so initially I was hoping for like a Tuesday off, but then when I realized I had a Friday off, I was like, wait, that really will benefit me. I feel like like will benefit me more like spiritually, if that makes sense, because that's my meeting day. And like usually like I go to work, after work I'm like I have to like rush, you know, to a meeting, and I'm like have to pick up something to eat, or I eat leftovers from lunch, and I'm like in the bathroom like swallowing, and then like I have my meeting, but I'm usually like so tired that I feel like I don't benefit as much as I probably could if I was not so tired from working hard all day. And I realized, I'm like, wow, this actually is better for me. I I felt really blessed in the moment. I was like, dang, like this means that I could like eat at home like normal person, and like go and like I could take it easy that day, or I can do more personal study that day, or like really thoroughly, you know, be prepared for the meeting. There's like no excuse anymore. Um, and I was like, dang, like this really benefits me. Um, I could, you know, I don't know, like I was just like, wow, like I just never would have thought that of getting that day off, you know, like it just, and how it probably would benefit me a lot if I did get it off. So I was like, wow, like, you know, now I now the brothers and sisters don't have to look at me like I'm like a wreck and be like, oh my goodness, like, are you okay? Like you look so tired. Um, and I'll be able to pay attention more, because like for example, like yesterday I was at meeting and I was so tired that I was like, um, I did not doze off, but I was still like, I was really hard to concentrate. You know, my brain's tired. I'm hearing all this Chinese. I'm trying to put it together, and I'm just like, my brain is just not there, and I'm just like, oh. But now, next semester, I'm like, psh, I feel like it'll be a lot better. And I'm working less even like during the week. So yeah, like overall, I just need to make sure to schedule myself well, because I have like, I'm a naturally very lazy person. And even though like I really want to get things done, I'm just like, oh, like, but I want to rest, you know, I want to take my time, or I want to sleep, or I want to nap, or I want to watch something. And it's just really easy for me to get comfy and not get anything done. So because I'm going to have so much more time, I feel like I'm going to have to be on it and make sure that like I don't squander it. I can see that I've been like talking for quite a bit, and I have like, because I'm making like rice right now. I told myself I was just gonna film a little while the rice is cooking, because it is late here. Like not late at night, but I mean in the, like I cannot communicate well anymore. I woke up really late, because I'm like, it's my first, I told myself I could have like this day off to be like a lazy bum. I still had some things that I was like, oh, like I should probably try to get done regardless. But I feel like I'm allowing myself today to take it easy, because it's been a very exhausting 5 months, and I feel like I really needed the break. So I'm really looking forward to this break, and I plan to like film it. So I'm going to film like the whole, it's like almost 4 weeks I have off. I think in total it's like 24 days. So I'm gonna film that. So, you know, that's gonna happen. I've been way too busy to really be filming anything lately. So now I'll have more time to vlog and stuff like that. So that's what I plan to do. I plan to make maybe another video sharing my experience when I went to the Korean wedding and last month, and yeah. So yeah, I'm just like, I guess I haven't done this for a while, so I'm just like talking way too much. I also want to talk about like my new living situation. Well, I'm still like living here, but like I have a new temporary roommate, and you know, there's all these other things that I would like to share that I haven't really been able to because I've been so busy. So I plan to do that. I think I'm gonna end it here because, as you know me, I can just keep talking, 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 and never stop. And I really need to stop because I think the rice is done already, and I need to eat something because it is like gonna be 3 o'clock, and I haven't eaten anything because I just been like sleeping and watching stuff and just laying down and cuddling with the cats, and like now I'm like, no, Lala, you need to eat something. Like you're hungry. Like come on. So I'm gonna go get something to eat and see you later.